What is up, crypto peeps? Hope you guys are having a good day today. If this is the first time on the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell that lets you know every time I post a new video. Shout out to Tony Montana back here. And for those of you that aren't new to the channel, go ahead and hit that notification bell because I know some of you lazy motherfuckers haven't done so yet. All right, let's get right into it. So Bitcoin is obviously the market driver. We want to know what the health of Bitcoin is at all times, at least within the current landscape of cryptocurrency. Maybe in the future that will change and Bitcoin will no longer be the market driver or have the #1 spot. And we can start taking a look at cryptocurrencies in isolation of Bitcoin. Today, that is not the case. So let us take a look at Bitcoin. Let me just preface this by saying there are some really bullish indicators on Bitcoin as of late. And if you're a holder of Bitcoin, especially if you were able to buy on the dip, like I was, like I instructed many of you to do, I'm not your financial advisor. So I'll say like I suggested many of you to do. If you bought on the dip, then you're at a good place, in my opinion, because there are some bullish indicators that we'll discuss today. Over the weekend, Bitcoin did dip a little bit before 8K, below 8K. It has been holding in the mid 8Ks really steadily, which is a good sign because it hasn't shown stability in 2018 really, and that you know it's the most consecutive number of days that we've actually seen that kind of stability. Over the weekend, it also tested the 9K levels, which it wasn't able to get above that hump. It didn't seem like it wanted to go above 9K. It touched it, came right back down, and it also went below, like we said, the 8K levels and came right back up. So it seems to want to hover around the mid 8Ks at the moment. But let's take a look at some of these indicators that we're talking about. So let's start with the 1 week chart. Now, a couple of things on the 1 week chart that look really, really promising. So on the 1 week chart, if we take a look at the RSI, look at how low the RSI is. This is surprisingly low, right? This is below the 50 mark. So we're right around 47, 48. And we haven't been that low since 2015. And if you look at the weekly chart, since 2015, from September 2015 till about mid 2017, it's been trading kind of steadily. And then mid 2017 is when we saw the signs that a rally was upcoming. And then obviously late 2017 is when we had this moon run, right? So on the RSI, this is really optimistic because it's showing that obviously based on RSI standards, this is not considered oversold, but this is low on the RSI scale for Bitcoin, especially, you know, taking a look at the 1 week charts. Second thing we want to note, look at this right here. And for those of you that aren't familiar with all the candlestick patterns, this is called a dragonfly doji. Each of these is called a doji. This right here is called a dragonfly doji. And if you look up what a dragonfly doji is, it is usually a sign of indecision. For one, it's very rare. You rarely see it. Two, it's usually a sign of indecision based on investor indecision, right? They don't know which way to go. But it is rather significant when it comes in the midst of a discernible trend, right? So if you have an identifiable trend, and in this case, there's a clear downtrend as of late, and you see the dragonfly doji, then that usually signifies a reversal and usually a bullish reversal, right? So we're now in a bearish trend. You see the dragonfly doji. Obviously, you're not going to take it in isolation, but combined with other indicators that might tell you, hey, the market is going to be bullish soon. This is a good sign to see. It's like seeing a unicorn because we don't really see dragonfly dojis that often. So that is another good sign for Bitcoin. And you can see that the next candle, obviously this week hasn't concluded yet, but the way that this week is starting, it's a green candle that looks like we're on the up and up, and we'll see how it plays out. Let's take a look at the other intervals for Bitcoin. All right, so on the 1 day interval, again, let's look at the RSI. The RSI is obviously coming off of an oversold indication here because it dipped below the 30. And again, for those of you that are new to charting the RSI in simplified terms, you can look up the actual machinations of the RSI. But if it dips below 30, it's considered oversold. If it goes above 70, it's considered overbought. So we're coming right off of the oversold levels, and it's trending upward, and that usually signifies an upward trend from current prices as well. Whoops, what the hell did I just do? All right, another thing to note on the 1 day chart, look at the volume. This is February 6th, so last week. We haven't seen this kind of volume since September of 2017. And September 2017 is when it was really the start of that bull run that we had that stretched out to late 2017. So look at this. So we'll use these grid lines right here where the crosshairs are, and look at this. It's almost exactly the same height. This volume bar right here and this volume bar right here. And we haven't seen that since September 2017. Another good sign. Now, let's take a look at the moving average. So I'll take a look at the exponential moving average. What I'm looking to see is the 200-day, because the 200-day was, if you remember from previous videos, that was the indication that there was a trend reversal downwards, or sorry, not a trend reversal because we were already in the down market, but it was an indication that Bitcoin was going to further decline because it actually had fallen below the 200-day, something that it hasn't done since forever ago. So let me just make this line thicker. Let me make it a brighter color for you to see. So here's the 200-day, and here's where we fell below the 200-day. And once we touched the 200-day, you knew that Bitcoin was going to fall further. And this is where we saw Bitcoin in the 6,000s and dip below even the 6,000 mark to the, I think it was like 59 something before it jumped right back up. It did not want to be at that level. But good indication, right? This is the 200-day. We dip below it. Look what Bitcoin is doing right now. The last the last 4 day candles have touched the 200-day. And let me see if I make this thinner. All right. And if I made the line thinner because I wanted to see if it actually closed above it. And yes, so you'll see yesterday's candle actually closed right above the 200-day. And I imagine that today's candle will close above it as well. So that is a good indication. So taking a look at the RSI, the volume, and the 200-day, as well as the Dragonfly Doji on the weekly chart, as well as the RSI on the weekly chart, as well as the volume on the weekly chart. Let's take a look at the 4-hour real quick because I spotted something earlier that is also a bullish indicator. So you guys might already see it if you've been watching the videos for the last few weeks. You guys might already see the pattern that I'm talking about. If not, don't worry, we will draw it out right now. And the pattern that I'm talking about is the inverted head and shoulders, or the reverse head and shoulders. So here's a shoulder, right? You have the head here, and here you have another shoulder. Whoops. That was kind of sloppy, but you get the picture. There's the reverse head and shoulders, right? And again, that is a bullish signal. Now let's take a look at some other indicators on the 4-hour chart that are promising. So if we draw a fib extension, right? So extension and retracement are essentially the same thing, except for the extension allows you to see what's beyond the 1 level or the 100 ratio, right? Or sorry, the 1 ratio or the 100 level. So we'll start at the low of this trend right here to where that trend started, back down to the low. And you'll see that now you have your extension, right? So you have the 0 to 1 levels, everything in between, and then you also have your extension above the 1 level. And this basically is showing you where Bitcoin's price can retrace to, or where you can predict Bitcoin's future price based on current trends or previous trends. And the reason that this is interesting is because if you went back here and you drew a trend line, you will see that the 618 level is almost right at the point of this pennant right here. So you see where this pennant ends, right? Is right around where the 168 ratio is. And in conjunction with the other things that we talked about, right? Like the volume, the RSI, and then here on the 4-hour chart, this reverse head and shoulders. There are a lot of bullish indicators, and there's a lot of reason to believe that Bitcoin can continue on this upward trajectory, at least to the previous testing, the previous 618 level of this fib extension. But we'll need to confirm a breakout first. A breakout from what? Well, that's what we need to define, right? So if Bitcoin, as we said earlier towards the beginning of the video, Bitcoin has struggled to get above 9K. We need it to close above 9K and confirm that it can sustain that level, and for that level to become the new support for us to give some credibility and some credence to Bitcoin's upward movement. If it cannot do that, then I don't expect it to run up, you know, to the 618 levels in a direct shot in one day. Now, the good thing, as we said, is that Bitcoin has been steadily trading in the mid 8Ks. So we're not expecting a downward trend anytime soon either. There isn't any reason to believe that, right? So we need a confirmation either way. Right now, it's currently trading sideways. And if you look at the 4-hour chart right here, you could see that obviously, you know, you have your resistance level here for this sideways movement, and you have your support level here for this sideways movement. And it currently is trading in here. So we need to see a breakout either way, either back down below the 8K levels, which I hope it doesn't do. I bought so much Bitcoin, you know, during the dip that among other things that I don't need it to go back down to that level. A lot of people on the Discord are wishing for it to go back down to that level because they missed buying. And as you know, if there is one motto in cryptocurrency, it's BTFD, buy the fucking dips. And that goes for the stock market as well, not just crypto. So sorry, I got derailed there, but you're seeing it bounce around here in this sideways consolidation, right? Which is good. We're not going down, right? We had this previous dip here, and now you're seeing a consolidation. What will it do after the consolidation? That's what we need confirmation on. Based on the indicators that we have now, that I showed you on the weekly, daily, and now the 4-hour chart, everything points to a bullish future, right? Or interim or near future. But again, we need a confirmation. So it needs to break above this 9K level and close above it. Or if it comes back down and breaks the support level, then we might see a further decline. So let's see how Bitcoin acts during this consolidation period. I'm currently in a holding pattern. Again, as I said, I bought a lot of Bitcoin. I even managed to snag some at the 6K levels, which I'm pretty proud of, because obviously right now we're working with house money if you manage to do that. But yeah, so the last thing that I wanted to go over is there is a historical chart that I came across here. This is from coin.dance, I believe. If you look at the volume, I think these are in 3-week increments. It looks like 21 days. If you look at the volume currently, right, of the most current data point that we have, we are currently at levels that we saw back in December. So this is another bullish indicator, because obviously December was high time for anybody in crypto. You could have been a blindfolded monkey throwing a dart at a chart full of cryptos and picked one and just made money. So this is a really, really good indicator for Bitcoin and for the market in general. So yeah, that's it for the video. We all know that the market moves along with Bitcoin, so we will continue to monitor Bitcoin as well as the market in general. Have any questions? Hit me up on the Discord. It's free. Sign up for the trade alerts and the weekly report on the Patreon. Leave a comment with your crypto addresses in the comment. We're going to be doing a crypto giveaway at 10K. We're really close to that number. Look out for an announcement on the first YouTube live stream, which we'll be doing here really shortly. Remember, I'm not your financial advisor. Trade safe. Peace.